nightmare night. What happened was unexpected. One night after a hard day at work, I went to practice my favorite hobby, fishing. I'd always told myself I'd try night fishing just once, to see what lives there when the sun goes down. I finally did. Packing light, I took my old lantern, some snacks, and a fishing rod. I drove as the last of daylight filtered through the trees. I went fishing at a lake I'd been familiar with since I was 12. A lake that wasn't on any map. No name, no trail markers. Just a calm crescent of water buried deep in the forest. The locals call it the Silent Hook. No boats, no tourists, no cell phone signal. Just you, the trees, and the water. No wind, no birds. Just the kind of stillness that presses against your skull until your breath sounds like thunder. I settled. On the west bank where the forest opens up, wide enough to see it from the moon. But that night, something unexpected happened. I cast my line, the bait slapped the water, and disappeared into black ink. I waited 15 minutes. Nothing. Then the lantern flickered. I tapped it to steady it. But something changed. What was happening? I felt tense and anxious. Something was out there. The crickets stopped a distant crackle. A low heartbeat began to rise. The woods behind me. There was total silence. No crickets. No frogs. No rustling leaves. As if something enormous had entered the clearing, and everything else knew how to run and hide. I turned around. Nothing. Just trees, shadows, and the sound of my blood rushing. But I felt it as if I were no longer alone. That intense pressure. That feeling of being watched, as if something was watching from beyond the fireplace. I tried to calm myself down a little until I was composed and free of it. But then something pulled at the line. The rod squeaks, the fishing line sways with pressure, the reel spins fast, and the drumming slowly rises. Then something tightens, not a bite. A violent jerk, sudden, strong, very strong. I grab onto whatever was attached to the hook. Whatever pulled me in was so fast and nimble. It glided across the lake in a zigzag fashion, as if it knew the place so well. My hands trembled, and my chest felt like it would burst from the pressure. 10 minutes of violent struggle. I pulled hard on the line. My hands shaking. My heart was pounding. I thought it would break my ribs. I still struggled for 10 minutes. Then I stopped. She was still dead, as if she had given up, or let go. I pulled faster. But what was happening? And what was the hook holding, or what had I caught? Fade out. The water was trickling. A low, annoying violin began to tremble. No fish, just seaweed. And something else, a slow motion reveal of long, black, braided hair tangled on the hook, dripped heavily, still braided. I dropped the hook, and then something splashed into the middle of the lake. A loud thud, too big to be a fish. No ripples, it just sank. Then the smell hit me. Rotten, like wet meat sealed in a can for years. The lantern dimmed again. The flame flickered. It was real. Then I heard it. Not from the trees, not from the lake, but from under the dock. Something creepy, wet, nearby, breathing. I looked down from under the dock. A hand protruded, pale, cracked nails. But here fear seized me as a hand gripped the edge. Swollen, pale, cracked nails. The lantern dimmed, and then I heard it breathing from under the dock. I looked up, and her face was wet. Her eyes were closed as if she were asleep, but suddenly I found her opening them wide. She stared at me as if she could see nothing but me. Then she smiled at me, a smile that filled me with utter terror, clenched fists, and the inability to move. What was this? And who was this? Ragged breathing, I stepped back. I hit the ground hard. I dropped the lantern. It was gone. Everything went dark. I heard her dragging slowly across the sidewalk. Water dripped from each end. I tried to crawl. My legs could barely move. I heard her behind me, and then she spoke. A sound like sunken gravel. She called me. I don't know how I got up, how I ran, but I ran until my lungs felt like they were about to rupture. I found the trail. I found my truck. I closed the doors. The sound of running faded into the sound of the truck slamming shut. The roar of the engine. I drove like hell, like I was scraping my tires. I never came back. But 2 nights ago I went up to my balcony and was surprised to find a braid on my desk, still wet. It still smelled of that lake. You know where I live. And you're not done yet. You called me. You're not done with me. Why? In your opinion, is this real, supernatural, fantasy, or worse? Tell me now in the comments. Wait until you hear what happened to 5 friends in the Devil's Hollow incident. They went into the woods for a weekend getaway, but none of them came back. What happened? Tell me, where are you watching this story from? What time is it? What's the best time to watch and share stories? 5 friends went into the woods for a weekend getaway. They brought marshmallows, a Bluetooth speaker, and a GoPro. They laughed at the gas station, took selfies at the trailhead, and mocked the forest's scary name, Devil's Hollow. But none of them came back. What happened? What search teams found in those woods, and what they didn't find, continues to terrify investigators to this day. The final shot, captured by a camera mounted on a tree, raised more questions than answers. Stay tuned. The final 30 seconds will make you want to sleep with the lights on. This is a terrifying true story of the Devil's Hollow incident. On October 12, 2018, 5 college students, Garrido, 20, Lily, 21, Jack, 24, Emma, 19, and Mason, 23, left Athens, Georgia, for a weekend camping trip. They chose the Devil's Pass area, a pristine forest spanning 14,000 acres. No phone service, no paved trails, just dust, silence, and the occasional local legend. They weren't afraid. Even Garrido joked with them. He posted on Instagram, "If we don't come back, blame the country people or Bigfoot LOL." It was their last post. Footage from a gas station showed them buying water and energy drinks. Mason joked, "Sacrifice the slowest first if they got into trouble." They parked near mile marker 37. As the sun set, they were deep in Devil's Pass. That night, a GoPro captured their stories around a campfire, their laughter and the exchange of a bottle of whiskey. Something was moving behind them, just outside the glow of the fire. But they hadn't noticed. On the second day, Lily was the first to tell Mason that something was wrong. She told Mason she heard footsteps behind her as she gathered firewood, but every time she turned around, nothing happened. That night, the tent shook. Emma screamed. They all woke up to what they thought was an animal rubbing against the tent. Then Jack disappeared. His shoes were gone. His backpack remained inside the tent. But the scariest part, His phone was found on a tree stump, still recording. The 3-minute video is disturbing. Jack walks through the trees at night, barefoot, whispering, "He's calling me. He wants me to see him." Then the video cuts to dead silence. That was the last time anyone saw him. The group began to panic. Garrido wanted to leave. Emma said the trail had changed. Nothing looked familiar. Mason found their backpacks torn apart, as if their claws had been used. Then the origami began to appear. Twisted branches with animal threads hung from the trees surrounding the camp. They tried to find their way out, but wherever they went, they ended up in the same clearing. That night, Garrido disappeared. His shoes were found standing at the entrance to the tent. It was as if he had left and disappeared. Only Layla, Emma, and Mason remained. Mason began recording everything. Paranoia gripped them. They heard whispers. Trees creaked. Branches snapped. Emma began talking to someone who wasn't there. She called him Malik. Mason's final video recording was terrifying. He whispered, "He doesn't want us to leave. We're where he is now." That night, the three disappeared. When search teams found the campsite 4 days later, they discovered the tent torn apart, Garrido's. Shoes still in place, and all the backpacks were still there, except for Jack's. A waterproof plastic bag was taped to a nearby tree that contained a single memory card. The card contains 5 videos. 4 of them were never published, but one was leaked. The video shows the 5 friends standing together in a clearing. It's daytime. The camera shakes slightly. Mason whispers, "There's something wrong with their faces." The camera zooms in. They're all smiling. The same wide, unnatural smile. Their eyes are fixed and unblinking. They don't move. They just stare at the camera. Then they fall silent. Investigators have offered no official explanation. No bodies have been found. No signs of animal attack. No suspicion of murder. Locals believe the Devil's Belly is cursed, a place that doesn't accept outsiders. Some say the forest is still alive. They take what they want, leaving the rest to slowly rot unheard. Others say the forest is a closed place, where our world collides with another. All that is known is this: 5 friends went into the woods. Then something else came back. What is your interpretation of what happened in the Devil's Hollow? Is it real, supernatural, or worse? And how did the 5 friends disappear? Share your interpretation with us in the comments. From which country did you watch the story? What's your current time? What's the best time for you to post and watch videos? Let me know.